So one of the most underrated childhood treats I don't think a lot of people know about are called Blondies, and these are things I loved as a child. These were basically combinations of the best desserts, being brownies and cookies, and you basically combine them to one another and you get Blondies. So basically how you make them, you have all of your ingredients. Of course, you have any type of box, and be really, in this case, Betty Crocker, and you have your olive oil, eggs, water, and cookie dough along with brownie dough, and you mix that all together. So first off, you put this in the oven, preheat it to 350 degrees, and then get your ingredients out. So we have our box here. As you can see, we're unboxing it a little bit, and you're going to find two packets in there. You're going to have a cookie dough packet and a brownie packet, which you're going to be mixing here in a little bit. As you can see, both of them laid out here on top. So you want both of those out ready to go, and we're going to be going over the ingredients here. So first off, let's tackle the brownies. So we got them right here. You have your olive oil, you have your water. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of water. So let's go ahead and get that. We're going to get our first one here. And you're just going to get a nice mixing bowl. It doesn't really matter the size as long as you can really fix all the ingredients into it. So you have your 2 tablespoons of water. I'm going to start off with that. And then you have your egg off to the side. Just crack 1 egg. You only need 1. Crack it in there. And then our final ingredient is also going to be that cookie dough mix. And we're also going to be throwing in the olive oil later on. So there goes the cookie dough mix right inside the bowl. Just pour the whole thing out. Make sure you don't get any crumbs left in there. And then you also have your olive oil, which is about 1/3 of a cup, and you also pour that into the bowl as well and kind of begin stirring that. So once we have all our ingredients in, we're good to go. You want to get a fork, you want to get a good stirring utensil, and once again, you just want to get the stirring. It's one of those things where it's probably going to take about 5 minutes if you really want to get consistency on kind of your dough and your batter. Just kind of working it around, again, kind of curving up the edges and making sure that you're not missing anything. Scrape the edges and kind of get the bottom so you kind of have a nice texture for that brownie mix, so it kind of goes all well together. You don't have any clumps of dough or anything. You definitely don't want that when actually working on something like this. And again, make sure it's all good. It should look like this when it's done. Again, smooth, nice and brown, chocolatey mix. Again, looks good. Once you're getting close to that texture, you should be gearing to go to the next step. So while we're talking about the next step, let's actually pour this into the bowl now. We have to get this thing out. So it's kind of similar to the stirring in my opinion. This is really kind of like gooey, so it's not going to be like water where you can just easily pour it in. You're going to have to kind of work it to get inside like the bowl. You're going to have to kind of scrape those edges and kind of help it get out of the bowl and get into the main container that you're going to be cooking with. So again, just scrape the edges, get all of that out there, and then just keep going on from there. So after that, we're going to get ready for our next step, which is, you can see the brownies are in the pan already, and let's move on. So now we need the next part. We need the brownies. Now we need the cookies. So let's get a smaller bowl here, and as you can see, we're going to pour in our next 7 ingredients, and that is going to be 1.5 tablespoons of butter, I believe, and then you have 2 tablespoons of water again. So let's go right into the bowl, 1, and here's your second one, back into the bowl. Once those first 2 are good, you're almost halfway there. Just need the third one here. That's a chocolate chip cookie mix, the one we were talking about earlier. They go with the brownies. Pour that inside the bowl. Once again, make sure you get all the chocolate chips, all of that good stuff out of there, out of the packet. Make sure it's thoroughly empty. Set that off to the side. And then, you guessed it, just like the brownie mix, we're going to get to stirring. Just stir it up nice and thoroughly. Once again, this one's going to be a little more tough. You're going to have some more of kind of like a denseness to it because you're making cookie dough. You're not making as fluid as brownie dough. So you kind of got to be careful with it. You're going to have a little bit of a texture of like normal cookie dough where it's kind of like rough and not as fluid as that brownie dough. As you can see here, you want to grab about a forkful, not a full forkful I would say, but actually just like a little bit, almost like an inch or 2 of the actually brownie batter that we made, and mix that with the cookie batter. As you can see, about that much, and then let's go ahead and kind of slide it off into the fork right on in. And you kind of want to make it like patchwork, I would say. I know that's a weird way of putting it, but you're going to want to kind of fill it like this, where there's just kind of like gaps of cookie dough in it, because that's going to be able to be really good at this, let it really melt in and merge with the brownie dough. So after we got it all mixed in, as you can see here, it should kind of look like that, where it's all kind of just mixed together. I kind of like to think it's like the like continents of the earth, I should say. Just a whole bunch of that. You have all of your land with the cookie dough, and the sea being that chocolatey goodness. So now we have our oven to 350 degrees. You're going to want to set for 36 minutes. So once you have all that good, feel free to relax, and then 36 minutes later, feel free to take it out, and then it should look a whole lot more firm. Again, it's not going to be all gooey and stuff, so just make sure to grab a towel, make sure the oven's nice and warm, not super hot, and then be able to take out that really good dessert. Look at that right there. Look at that. And then you're going to have this beautiful, beautiful result. Once again, great treat, really easy to make, great event for all occasions.